All right, we are live. Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast, coming at you with The Walking Dead mid-season finale, episode 8 of season 9, Evolution. And no, we're not talking about Triple H, Ric Flair, Batista, and Randy Orton. Cue the Motorhead song. No. We're talking about the theory of evolution in that there's something crazy going on with the walkers, and it's freaking a lot of people out in this episode. So let's jump into this. And what's also even more amazing is we got a full-blown preview of what's coming, some crazy scary stuff in The Walking Dead as far as the Whisperers. And I believe they show Alpha, Beta, and what did I see? Oh, the I believe it's the daughter of Alpha. Her name is, I think Lydia in the comics. I think that's what her name is. Are we live still? I think we are. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Okay, I think we're good. I have no clue what just happened. All of a sudden, something, I don't know, went blank for a bit. All right. All right, I think we're good. Hope we're good. Why does this happen to me? All right. Anyways, we'll just go. So yeah, that the preview, I'd have to go watch it back again. But I'm pretty sure we saw all three main characters of the Whisperers in there. We saw the daughter, we saw Alpha, and we saw Beta. It was a flash, but we saw Beta. It's Ryan Hurst with the mask on. I can't wait to see. I was a big fan of his in Sons of Anarchy. In fact, I mean, I didn't watch the whole series when it was on. I'm way flipping behind. I watched like up to season 3 at the end, and then I've got several seasons to catch up on. And I have Netflix, but I heard they're taking it off of Netflix, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to see it now. I have to go buy the series. It's a very good series, though, and he was great. And for the life of me, I can't think of what the hell his name was in the series. But yeah, it was sad when he was killed off in Sons of Anarchy. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that next half with the preview they showed. And Alpha's different because I believe that's who they showed walking through. They showed the back of her head as she was like cutting her way through a crowd. Pretty sure that's who that was. And then the daughter was in like jail talking to Daryl. Pretty sure that's who that was. Alpha's daughter. So yeah, and some interesting that they revealed all that in the preview. But you know, I think it's also like a defensive measure. Like they want to make sure people come back. Because it's still picking up the pieces from losing Rick. That was massive. I'm sure there are people that were just like, no, I'm done. So that's, I think, why they also decided to go the route of doing the Whisperers storyline. Rowdy Renz is in the chat. Good evening. Nice hat. Thank you. It's I wear it once in a while. It's another little mini tribute to Rick Grimes. Seeing as we lost him a few episodes ago. We lost someone significant in this episode. Jesus. We lost Jesus in this episode. Very sad. Certainly did in some ways become another moral compass character a little, just in how he was always trying to talk to others about doing things what seemed like the right way to do things, in dealing with others or big decision making, but clearly didn't want the responsibility of leading. But he was also so different in his fighting skills too. You've got the shooters like Rick Grimes. You've got Michonne with the sword. What was that called? The katana. And then Jesus was so different because he used like parkour slash, I don't want to say ninja, but it's certainly almost like an Oriental style of fighting. I don't know what you would classification it would fall under. I have no idea. But so he was very, he was certainly more hand-to-hand combat, and that was different. Whereas in the Apocalypse, you're trying to come up with new and or different weapons as some of the original big weapons go along the wayside in the process of fighting. Sometimes you pick them up along the way. Sometimes you make some. You do what you got to do what you got to do in the Apocalypse, and he was certainly different that way. I was watching The Talking Dead, talking about what are you going to miss the most about Jesus on the show. They said 6% said Thomas Paine's man bun. I was like, really? That's so goofy. But as I'm going along here and talking about certain notes and certain scenes, let me know what you thought of them if you like. I got my chat open here. Or if you're catching this after the fact, let me know what you think about the stuff that I'm talking about in the comments below. And if you're digging the content, smash that like button and smash that sub button. It's going to be a while before we're talking about Walking Dead again, but I'm trying to, gain momentum on talking about it on a regular basis again, at least when it's on. I'm not like, Trev's Chan, where he's talking about it all day and every single day. I can't do that. I just can't do that. But he has certainly made a name for himself doing that, though. He is something else. He is inspiring, to say the least. Let's talk about this tense feeling that's going on when and we're going to kind of just jump all over the place. This tense feeling of, what happened, and there's going to be a lot of speculation between now and next February. By the way, the show returns on February 10th. I knew it was usually comes back around Valentine's Day. think last year was Valentine's Day. This year it's February 10th. So we'll be looking forward to that. The continuation of season 9. What is going on with what happened between the different bases, the different, home bases, Alexandria, Hilltop, the Kingdom. I was drawing a blank. I'm like, third one. Dear God. What kind of fan are you? Oh, it's just a horrible fan. And they did say they are going to get into what happened. It was also announced on The Talking Dead that Maggie is officially done with the show. The episode before the last one, the episode of Rick's last episode was also Maggie's last episode. We didn't know. Which is also kind of sad. So Robert Kirkman said on The Talking Dead, Maggie's officially done with the show. He said her story is not done yet. So I got a feeling whatever happened between the three main, bases, plantations, whatever you want to call them, has to do with a fallout between Michonne, like a lot of the main players. Maggie was the leader of the Hilltop. The Hilltop? Yeah, the Hilltop. And it's also going to be interesting is if she's done with the show, are we going to see her son? Herschel would have been, oh, geez. I don't know. Herschel would be 7 or 8 after the 6-year time jump. Something like that. It'd be about as old as Judith was before the time jump. Give or take a little bit. It's a guess. And an offshoot of that same conversation is some characters are marked. Daryl's marked. And I think Michonne is marked too. I think those are two of them. They've got like the X on the lower left-hand part of their back. It's like a scarred X. So I got a feeling we're going to find out what that is too. Like they're marked for some reason. X as in exile, maybe, but obviously they're not exiled. They're still there. Daryl kind of exiled himself. I don't know. He just kind of gave up on everything when Rick died. Or when Rick disappeared. He didn't die. They assume he died. Which is why Michonne goes back there and talks to him. Or, the ghost of Rick. So yeah, that's very interesting. And also the tension between Michonne, Michonne and Carol. That tension is like they were happy to see each other. They were cordial. They're talking about trying to get talks of, trading back and forth again in a positive way. But apparently Michonne's not having that. She's like, we can't go back to that. But she's still, she's civil with them. Obviously more happy to see some of them than others. Yeah, just it's really, we've seen how 8 seasons of these guys living together, fighting together, almost dying together, surviving, and now there's this tension there, and in not knowing what the tension is from is like, oh God, like my nails are gone. Like, what is this from? It's crazy. Rosita's at Hilltop. She's recovering because she was dehydrated and wounded from trying to escape from the walkers / whisperers. She wakes up and tells, and I can't think of the doc's name, the Indian guy, wakes up and tells the doc and Michonne first of all, she's terrified. She wakes up scared. That's the freaky part. She's like, they have no clue what they're doing or what they're up against. Which we see Michonne come to the rescue later, but yeah, that was weird. To see the reactions from these characters that we haven't seen legit for quite some time. Since like Negan's had them on their knees. That's freaky. Before they find Eugene, we see Daryl and Jesus and Aaron observing the walkers / whisperers, and they don't realize they're the whisperers yet. How they're just like wandering around in circles in this field, which is usually they're just walking in one direction or another, and they're just kind of like circling themselves. So strange. And the fact that something inside or someone inside the walkers group was directing them, in a sense, to go keep turning. We saw that a couple times in this episode. There was a part where, well, Daryl tried to what did I say to my wife? It was like I said it's like a zombie grenade. That alarm clock that he had set to go off, threw it, and then it's a distraction for the walkers to go off in that direction. Which it works for a while until it stops. Then they just kind of do whatever. You'd think they would keep heading in that direction. That's the norm. But obviously they're not dealing with the norm anymore, are they? And then the part where they found, like I said, I'm kind of jumping around here. Just, different scenes popping in my head that I'm talking about. When they have Eugene, and I'll get to finding Eugene in a minute, but when it's like once I get a thought, I got to get it out. It's that ADD. Once they have Eugene and they realize that they're surrounded again and they're trying to stay ahead of them, which seems impossible at this point, they go off in one direction, they separate, and Daryl goes off to that little house up on that hill with the dog, the dog named Dog. It's cute. And he lights the firecrackers and chucks them. And he gets the dog to shut up. The walkers are coming towards the firecrackers, and then all of a sudden the front section of the walkers completely turns. What? And he's the way Daryl is like looking over the roof on the the top of the house or whatever building this was that he was at, the look on his face, priceless. Absolutely priceless. He's like, what the hell is going on here? What is happening? He even heard like the wind was like carrying the voices of, well, not the voices, but well, you can call it the voices of the walkers. When they were, that's part of him, like his tracking skills in a sense. He could tell how close they were getting or that they were coming in that direction. The wind was carrying their voices. That was interesting. And now we jump back a little bit. When they found Eugene, freaky. He was hiding in that little cellar of that barn. And as soon as they got in that barn, I don't know the comics to a T by any means. I didn't read them, but I did a little research going into this last couple episodes here about the Whisperers. Not to get spoilers, which I got a little bit, but nothing significant. But just to know kind of what was on the horizon with certain characters or whatever. But what happens in one of those what I thought was going to happen in one of those last scenes, I thought we were going to lose a lot more people. I sincerely thought I thought we were going to lose like 3 people, like Eugene and Daryl and the 2 other guys. I was like, oh no, it's going to be like a mass slaughter and we're going to lose all these people and it's going to be horrible. I was prepping myself for that. It's like, this is The Walking Dead. We don't know what they're going to throw at us. I mean, we hope it's not too astronomical. The worst case of that, I think, has been the debut of Negan. That was bad. But we didn't get that. So thank God for that. Because I think losing Daryl and Rick in the same season would have been like, all right, that's it. The show's done. Nope, just series finale right there. But they got to be smart about this too. They can't make drastic things like that and think that they're still going to keep a good chunk of their fan base. I mean, I'm sure they're already a little freaked out about losing Rick, but I feel like the story is definitely strong enough that it can recover. You're throwing one of the big baddies at them of like the entire series at the fans. So I think there's enough to, keep it going. I think some fans have definitely gone along the wayside, but they're doing things to counter that. But finding Eugene. We've seen a side of Eugene that we haven't seen for a couple seasons, where Eugene's character, when we first met him, was this like bumbling, terrified little dweeb. No defensive skills, no offensive skills. Actually, well, his only skills were, several lines of bullshit. Lying to the people around him so that they'd keep him alive. I'm Dr. So-and-so, and you need to get me to Washington, D.C. I'm talking about that storyline, okay? But going into the last few episodes after the time jump, we see Eugene really feels like, whoa, it's like Eugene hit puberty, He's got the ponytail, and he's taking out walkers left and right in that first, episode. And he's making progress, he's coming into his own. He's manning up. He's finding his cojones, over that 6-year period. He really did step up and change. But now, hiding from the whisperers, we see him revert back to that old Eugene. And for good reason. I mean, if they're used to finding these walkers, or even several walkers, now all of a sudden you're hearing voices when you're fighting them or running from them or whatever. Oh my God. I can't even imagine how terrifying that would be. I mean, to see it in the series is more like weird than anything. But I feel like as the last few episodes have gone on, the fear factor has definitely kicked in. It has become more scary because you're not just seeing a load of walkers on a screen where it's like, okay, it's a load of walkers. We've seen this a million times. Wait, what the hell are they doing now? They're moving in sync because of something. What is going on? It's going to make us pay attention to the walkers again like we haven't in several seasons. Whereas before they were just kind of like in the background. They were still part of the show, but they weren't part of the fear factor. It was Negan or one of the other big bad guys. And the walkers were just kind of like, decorations. Now we're back to, okay, you need to like really fear the walkers again. Because of what's controlling these herds. But yeah, seeing Eugene scared was trippy. I mean, he was shaking, borderline in tears, quaking, quivering in his voice. Like like introduction season of Eugene several seasons ago. What was it? Season that was what, after the governor? So that'd be 4 or 5, I think. I'm a little rusty on the time, but I think it was about that. So yeah, we've had these guys like 3 or 4 seasons. Because they were kind of in their own storyline by themselves before they were introduced to the group. Rosita, Abraham, and Eugene. By the way, Abraham directing the last episode last week, and I apologize for not reviewing it. It's, last couple weeks adjusting to the new schedule has been a little weird. I don't podcast at my normal times anymore. The weekend late night times is about as normal as it gets. So I apologize, trying to make up for it here. What else? Henry. They mentioned on The Talking Dead that this episode was kind of like Henry going off to college. Carol dropping him off at the kingdom so he could learn a new trait. Was kind of like him going off to college, which when you're like, I don't see it. But when you think about it, it's like, okay, he's being taught something. So he's like in school, and then he's got all these other just like teenage distractions around him. Hey, come party with us. Oh, I don't know if I should. Well, you don't want to be the odd person out. You don't want to be uncool, which is kind of weird because in the apocalypse, you'd think some of that would go away, but no, kids are going to be kids. Those teenage instincts are still there from now until the end of time. Kids are doing the same shit now that they were back 20 plus years ago when I was in high school. Yeah, I'm really dating myself there, but yeah, it's okay. Like technology has drastically changed. I'll say that. From where I was taught typing my third year in high school on the first computers in the high school. First computers that the students were on, excuse me. And whereas now, every kid in school has like their own computer that they're given. It's crazy. Couldn't even, if you would have told me that back when I was in high school, I'd be like, what? You're crazy. But yeah, kids don't change. Peer pressure. Here, drink this. It'll be fun, they said. And then we didn't see how he got back, but obviously they left him in the hole after drinking, and they were messing with the walker, and his instinct skills come in like, what the hell are you doing? It's a walker. We have to kill it. Boom. Oh, that wasn't cool. No, that wasn't cool. They were having fun. And here I'm thinking as they're about to go off, I'm like, oh, there's herds out there. They're all dead. They're all dead. There's no chance of them coming back. But apparently they made it back. Or someone had to help him out. Maybe he got out on his own. Maybe it wasn't that deep. I don't know. But Henry's in bad guy jail now. Reaping the benefits of drinking the, what do they call it? Oh, riding the lightning. It's moonshine. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is moonshine in the apocalypse. Don't worry. We do have knowledge of alcohol. If you don't find it like, oh God, what's his face in the other series who found that house full of alcohol? If it's not that, you make your own. Oh, man. Gabriel and Negan. Okay, besides the whole fact that Negan got out at the end of the episode, which is like, what? How the hell did that happen? That's just crazy. Obviously, somebody did not do their job there. Gabriel trying to, almost in a sense, I think, like trying to really connect with Negan and or rehabilitate him. Like he said, I'm trying to find the person underneath all this bullshit that you keep spewing out of your mouth. And he's getting more and more frustrated. Like, why do I even do this? Which, yeah, has got to be frustrating on his part because that's what he's used to doing as a preacher, to help rehabilitate someone who's going through a crisis and use the Bible to do that, or just to preach to someone, period. That's what he does. That's what he's used to doing. Morally, he may not have been very good in the past, as in he abandoned his congregation and was afraid and left them all for dead and hid in the church. Besides that fact, he still had his moral compass of what he believed in that he tried to share with people throughout the last several years, finding Rick's group, getting saved by them and whatnot. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they show how, I mean, we know how Negan got out. He pushed the door open. So, I mean, is that on Gabriel or is that on someone else? Was Gabriel so frustrated that when he left Negan after that argument and he forgot to lock the door? That's weird. It's possible. It's very possible. You know, you throw someone off what they're normally do, a habit, a mental distraction. I suppose it is very possible. So yeah, the last thing we see from the preview of the second half is Negan showing up at his old digs, Casa de Saviors, and whistles, and he says something like "Home, sweet home." So yeah, I mean, I think the Saviors are all but gone. I can't imagine anything being left. I can't. It's going to be wild. I know he ends up helping Alexandria and everyone against the Whisperers. At least I think he does, unless they really throw us a switcheroo in the whole plot lines of The Walking Dead. We'll see. Anything else here? I think that's about it. That final scene. Okay, that final fighting scene where we lose Jesus in the cemetery and Aaron's there, and Michonne and Magna's group help find the guys and help rescue them. And the looks on, specifically the look on, I mean, everyone's shocked when they realize what they're actually up against. The people in the masks, when they see Jesus die, that had to be just completely messing with their heads. This walker dodged a sword, came back, and ran Jesus through with like a machete, basically what looked like a machete of his own. Crazy. And Michonne killing the one guy, and the absolute look of horror and shock on her face as she's just looking, she's just staring up at her sword and sees the blood dripping down it. That look on her face is absolutely priceless. Absolutely crazy. Like, what did we just kill? Because it looked, I'd have to watch it again, probably a couple times, but it looked like a few more Whisperers came out of the fog and tried to attack them. I think it was certainly more than one there. And then Daryl takes off the mask and holds it, just staring at it, and then looks up at the others like, you know, what is this going on? Crazy. Their expressions were just awesome. Like, you believed they were legit terrified, and the shock and awe of all of it. So yeah, rest in peace, Jesus. And he certainly was a unique character in the apocalypse. And the fact that he was really, you know, getting to know Aaron. Someone asked on The Talking Dead, was like, do you think there was a chance that they were like dating? And Thomas Paine, sitting on the couch, was like, yeah, there's no way you could say yes or no without seeing it on the TV. But he's like, yeah, there's an absolute chance of that, you know. Um, so yeah, it is going to hit Aaron hard, and we'll obviously see how hard it hits them in the second half of season 9. Uh, so we will have the introduction of all the main characters of the Whisperers. We should also see the explanation of what happened between the groups that caused this major rift, this resentment between them. It's got to be it's got to be something to do with Maggie. But Robert Kirkman made it sound like maybe she'll show up again. But then he also said that she was not going to be, that that was her last episode 2 weeks ago, but her story isn't done. So I'm a little confused, but we'll see what happens. So, yeah, so that's going to do it for this. Walking Dead returns February 10th. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy talking about this again on here. I hadn't done it for a long time. And I apologize for it being, sporadic at best. But, 99% of the stuff on here I talk about is wrestling and what I like to watch on TV. And there is not a whole lot else I like to watch on TV on a regular basis besides wrestling, and that's Walking Dead. But I still love music, so I'm going to try my best maybe in the coming year to bring back a little more talk of my love of music and music news when stuff comes out in 2019. The music that I love, rock and roll. So we'll see. So that's it for this, and yeah, we'll be back. Probably be back tomorrow discussing some Major League Wrestling. We'll see what else pops up in the news. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see all you Walking Dead fans down the road real soon. Have a good one.